What happens when the man who might know where some of the deepest secrets in American aerospace research are buried suddenly vanishes? Not a whistleblower, not a conspiracy theorist, a two-star general, a man who ran the Air Force Research Laboratory, the Air Force's $4 billion a year science and technology enterprise. The man that UFO researcher Tom DeLonge once claimed was connected to discussions about Roswell secrets. His name is Major General William Neil McCaslin. And right now, he's missing. Now, we're going to talk about what we actually know, what we don't know, and why the people working at the edge of advanced aerospace physics sometimes seem to disappear into the shadows, or worse. Because if you follow the pattern, you start to see some very uncomfortable questions emerging. I'm Greg. This is Galactic Greg's. For decades, I've worked in the world of rockets, space systems, and risk management, supporting NASA programs, and living inside of engineering culture that tries to push humanity into space. Most people think that the biggest hazards we analyze are things like launch explosions, structural failures, or orbital debris. But today, we're looking at a different kind of hazard, the hazard of knowing too much about technologies that could change civilizations. Right now, authorities in New Mexico are searching for retired U.S. Air Force Major General William Neil McCaslin, who was reported missing in Albuquerque. According to investigators, he was last seen on the 27th of February around 11 a.m. near Quail Run Court, northeast Albuquerque. Authorities issued a silver alert due to medical concerns. Search teams, including drones, helicopters, and K9 units, have been deployed, and the FBI has joined the search effort. So, nothing to be found. So, officially, this is a missing persons case. There is no confirmed criminal activity at this time. But here's where the story has caught the attention of the UFO and aerospace communities. McCaslin was not just any retired officer. He was commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, responsible for overseeing billions of dollars of advanced technology programs, a career astronautical engineer and space systems acquisition leader. And Wright-Patterson is a base with a legendary reputation. If you spend any time in UFO history circles, one name keeps coming up: Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. It was home to Project Blue Book, the U.S. military's Cold War investigation into UFO sightings that cataloged more than 12,000 reports. And according to long-run rumors inside the UFO community, it's also where the debris from the 1947 Roswell incident was analyzed. Now, to be clear, the official government explanation is that Roswell debris came from Project Mogul, a balloon surveillance program for detecting nuclear detonations, not alien spacecraft. I know Chief Engineer Mike Smith of Aerostar, the company that built the balloons, and he's adamant about that. And I know him, and I believe he believes what he's saying. But Wright-Patterson still became the epicenter of decades of speculation about Hangar 18, and alleged recovery technologies. And that's where things get interesting, because in the 2016 WikiLeaks release of John Podesta's emails, musician and UFO activist Tom DeLonge claimed that he had been working with Mick Caslin on UFO-related discussions. DeLonge described him as someone who is very aware of the material connected to Roswell. Now, McCaslin himself never confirmed those claims, but the association was enough to put him firmly on the radar of the UFO research community. Now, here's where the story gets uncomfortable, because when you look at the edges of aerospace physics, especially in the areas related to exotic propulsion or gravity research, you start to see a pattern. One name I've talked about before on this channel, Ning Lee, a physicist of the University of Alabama in Huntsville, who studied superconductors and claimed theoretical pathways to gravity modification, however you want to call it. I knew Ning Lee in those days. In the 1990s, her research attracted intense interest from the Department of Defense. Then her public academic career vanished. It essentially disappeared. Nobody knew where Ning Lee was at that time. She later worked for defense contractors connected to military research programs. United States Army. I got a video on that. United States Army Antigravity program. Her story is one of the many reasons that people believe that gravity modification manipulation research was quietly classified. Then there's another name, Amy Eskridge, a young researcher in Huntsville who helped found the Institute of Exotic Science. Her work focused on pushing forward research into advanced propulsion concepts and experimental physics. I knew Amy too. She is the first video posted on this channel. She died in 2022 in circumstances that sparked significant discussion and speculation inside that community. Now, to be clear, there is no official evidence connecting these claims. But when you line them up, people start asking questions. So let's get back to the bigger question. Why would anyone care about gravity modification research? Because if you could control gravity, you can control the ultimate aerospace technology. Imagine a propulsion system that doesn't require propellant. Not propulsion, propellant. Doesn't rely on aerodynamic lift. Doesn't care about atmospheric drag. You can build a spacecraft that hovers silently, accelerates at extreme rates, and move between the Earth and orbit without rockets. In other words, you could completely rewrite the economics of spaceflight. And if you've been watching my Galactic Greg's channel, you already know why this matters. Because the high ground of space determines who dominates the next century. Now, let's separate speculation from fact. McCaslin's real career was already extraordinary. He served as director of special programs at the Pentagon, director of space acquisition for the Air Force, commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory, the AFRL. At AFRL, he oversaw over $2.2 billion in Air Force science and technology programs. Thousands of engineers and researchers advanced work across aerospace materials, sensors, and propulsion. This is the organization that develops advanced energy weapons advanced propulsion, hypersonic technologies, space systems. In other words, this is where the breakthrough aerospace technologies emerging anywhere in the Air Force ecosystem come from. AFRL would be where they started. Dark possibility. So what does this disappearance mean? Right now, we simply do not know. The official explanation remains straightforward. A missing person with medical concerns. And that explanation may ultimately prove correct. But the real reason this story is getting traction online is because of the intersection of things. A senior aerospace technology leader, a base historically linked with UFO type phenomenon, a community already suspicious about classified propulsion research. When those elements collide, the speculation machine goes into overdrive. And quite frankly, the secrecy culture surrounding advanced aerospace programs doesn't help. So here's the real takeaway. Even if UFO lore turns out to be wrong, there is still a massive amount of advanced aerospace research happening behind classified walls. And some of it could be transformative. History shows that breakthrough technologies often start inside secret programs, stealth aircraft, GPS, nuclear propulsion concepts, and advanced space surveillance. The challenge is that extreme secrecy creates an environment where the public cannot distinguish between real breakthroughs, rumors, and myth. Which brings us to the question I want you to think about right now. If humanity truly is on the edge of a new era of propulsion physics, who should control it? A handful of classified programs or civilization as a whole? Because the next great technological leap might not just decide who wins wars, it might decide who gets to leave Earth. So let's summarize. A retired Air Force two-star general, a leader of America's most advanced aerospace organization, he has vanished in New Mexico. Authorities say there's no evidence of foul play, but the mystery has reopened the deeper conversations about secrets, about physics, about what technologies may already exist beyond the public eye. For now, we hope the search teams find General McCaslin safe. Let's hope he's not in the hands of adversarial powers. But questions surrounding the frontier of aerospace science, those questions aren't going away. You know, it's highly strange the way that Ning Li, after she disappeared and suddenly met a strange demise, the strange demise met by Amy Eskridge, and now the disappearance of McCaslin makes one wonder. So, because the real race for the 21st century isn't just a geopolitics. It's a race for the ultimate aerospace breakthrough. Whoever controls that technology controls the high ground. And at the high ground, that's where you control the future. The high ground controls the future. So if you want deep dives into the technologies that could take humanity to the stars, subscribe to Galactic Grades, bang the bell, and click all. Because we're going to keep digging into the frontier of space science, technology, advanced propulsion, and the long game for the future of human civilization. In another video, hey, I've got another video for you to watch right here. Keep your boots on the ground, but keep your eyes on the stars. Thank you for watching. Greg out.